So I guess I can announce the first thematic. The first thematic was circular economy, and I'm happy to announce the coup de coeur, which is the project Revive. So I'll let you encourage on the stage Ananta, who's going to pitch for Revive. You go.
Bonsoir, Paris. Lovely to meet you. I am Ananta. I'm the CEO of Revive, and we regenerate lead batteries. When people ask me why do I do what I do, I often show them this picture and I say, this is me last year when I was on an island. That was my office. I was having a lot of fun. I was teaching, or rather researching, an island economy, trying to make it more sustainable and also work on the waste management problem that they had. And with the repeated conversations that I had with the member of parliament that we were writing the book for, I would often find him struggling to adopt sustainable technologies, saying that my people still need development, they still need good roads, they still need good hospitals, they need good universities, and they want the next iPhone, and I want to be able to give them all of this, and it's not possible if we look at the ecosystem. So that made me really disappointed. The story starts with me as a little girl of 5 years old, and I used to accompany my father to the Himalayas. And in the next 15 years, I would see the Himalayas turn from a paradise to a construction disaster. And that made me really sensitive to the needs of preserving our ecosystem, which is why I decided to go from this very secure life to something that is focusing on solving this problem. So I'm going to focus on one product, and that product comes from the most polluting industry in the world, the energy industry, and our product is the lead-acid battery. Now, everybody wants to see Europe transition to the renewable sector, right? Like to solar and wind. Now, what happens when the sun isn't blowing and the wind isn't, when the sun isn't shining, sorry, and the wind isn't blowing? Where do you store the energy? In batteries, right? And what happens if every household, every company, every industry turns to lead batteries? We have this. We have hundreds and thousands of tons of lead, which are melted to produce millions of tons of carbon emissions, and we never really solve the problem that we set out to solve. So we are Revive, and we regenerate lead-acid batteries. We use electricity to bring dead batteries back to life, and with our technology, lead batteries can last 3 times as long. We're on a mission to regenerate 1 million batteries by 2030. I'm the CEO and the founder. My CTO has been working in the space of lead battery regeneration for the last 5 years. And we have regenerated 10,500 batteries in India and Africa. We've worked with companies like General Electric, Tata, the Indian Army. And now we're setting up our first workshop, Europe's first regeneration workshop in the Netherlands. We're raising funds for 750K. And we basically want you to help us reach the target of 1 million batteries by 2030. And that's going to be equal to planting 52 million trees. But it's also going to significantly reduce the carbon emissions that comes from the lead industry. So join us on our journey and help us save the planet one battery at a time. Thank you.
Bit alone right now. Yeah, can you hear me? So congrats, Ananta, for being the coup de coeur for this circular economy prize. Congratulations. And now the second thematic is energy. Energy, and the coup de coeur is biosphere solar. I encourage you to welcome Perrine Fleury for her pitch.
I invite you to close your eyes and imagine the future 20, 30 years from now. You're walking out of your house, And what do you see? Do you see a future that is catastrophic? Do you see civilization collapse? Something like this. Or do you see something more like this, where we have finally found a way to live in symbiosis with the biosphere? When we look at this, we need to ask ourselves, what do we need? And one of those answers is energy. We're going to need a lot of energy. And if we look at some of the research that has been done on how to make that energy sustainable, fully renewable, some of the research you can see behind me by Bryce et al., for example, shows that we're going to need a whole lot of solar. About 60% of our energy source is going to be coming from solar. So what is that solar future going to look like? Are we going to be producing our solar panels so that they're ecotoxic? Are we going to be producing them in a way which makes them completely impossible to take apart, and so that they're considered waste and are downcycled at the end of life? And are we going to be using forced labor and pollution as we use coal to power what we call a green energy transition? We are Biosphere Solar, and we are revolutionizing the solar industry. We have developed a solar panel that is not only recyclable, but is also repairable, and so you can completely take it apart. How have we done this? We have been inspired by the insulating glass industry and are using an edge seal to allow us to completely disassemble the solar panel instead of using the glue that is conventionally used in the solar industry today. The past 2 years have been about prototyping. We have finally found manufacturers and are moving towards the next steps as we have confirmed the municipality of The Hague as our first client. And of course, we have finally found an amazing team to push forward this idea. About this team, I am one of the co-founders, one of 3 that you can see behind me. And we're also backed by about 15 students, master students, and non-students, and are based next to TU Delft, so in the Netherlands. But of course, we cannot forget the amazing collaborators and partners that we have, some of which you see behind me on the screen. So, if you're interested in revolutionizing the solar industry with us, if you have funding, if you have determination, if you have an idea that you want to bring to us, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Good job, Perrine. Can I high five? I know you have 2, but I want to high five. Congratulations on your project about energy. And now we're going towards education and inclusion. And it's a projet coup de coeur that I really, really like. It's Vanessa Duchâtel and her project ChangeNOW. Let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa. I'm co-founder and CEO of ChangeNOW. Well, it's the end of the day. I think everyone's a bit tired, so I too am going to invite you guys to close your eyes, and we're going to do a little activity. Let's picture a world in which every adult is self-confident, knows how to regulate his or her emotions, knows his or her own strength. A world in which you know how to do that, and so do your colleagues, your friends, your wife or your husband. Feels pretty good, huh? Well, now you can open your eyes, and unfortunately, we're not there yet. And because we're not there yet, we have a 10% school dropout rate in France, and we have 25% of our children currently undergoing a high level of stress, of anxiety, or of depression. And to tackle that problem, well, there's one big button that we can push, and that button is called social-emotional skills. They're a set of 21 transversal skills for which research has shown over the past 40 years that they have a tremendous impact on 3 things. First, your academic and your professional success. Second, your mental and your physical health. And third, as a whole, as a society, social and gender inequalities. So that's what we do at ChangeNOW. Our mission is that every kid, whatever his or her social background, gets to develop his or her social-emotional skills for a better future and for a better common future. Now, how do we do that? Well, we wanted to have a project that could be as socially inclusive as possible. So we decided to go where every kid goes. We did. We targeted school. And we wanted a project as efficient as possible. So we don't target children directly, but we take care of those who take care of them every day. We train, we equip, and we accompany teachers so that they learn how to develop their own socio-emotional skills and those of the children they work with every day. We were created 4 years ago. We have now accompanied more than 5,000 professionals for an impact on more than 300,000 students. And last January, we launched the first digital platform for teachers so that he or she, wherever he or she works, for free, at their own pace, can get trained and accompanied on that subject. We are now the reference in France on socio-emotional skills, thanks to 10 financial partners who have joined us. We're a team of 15 people deeply engaged in this project and about to have raised 1 million euros. But we need more resources, we need more expertise, we need more funding. So if one of you happens to know the Minister of Education, please let him know that I would love to meet. And if you don't, but fund or accelerate projects like ours, or if you have an expertise we could benefit from, please come talk to us after this pitch. Let's reach 1 million teachers together. Let's change things now. Thank you.
Congrats, Vanessa! Oh, congrats on Scolavi. And after talking about education, what about talking about mobility? This is our next pitch, and I encourage you to welcome Laure Wagner. She's going to talk about her project. Please give her good vibes!
Hello, everyone. So, hello, I'm Laure Wagner. I worked at BlaBlaCar for 11 years, and I'm also a co-author and animator of La Fresque de la Mobilité, and I launched 1 km à pied to reduce the need for mobility and make people happy, you'll see. Why? Because commutes are too distant today to be done by bicycle. The average distance of commutes in France and everywhere in Europe and developed countries is 13 kilometers in average. It's too long, too distant. That's why most workers still commute by car. Boo! So how can we reduce distances? You have to know that 74% of workers are field workers, field employees, so they will never be able to work from home. For them specifically, it's really important to reduce their distance. And 45% of employees work for multi-site employers. Spoiler, we already work for Auchan, Carrefour, Lidl, Point P, and Sodexo, you'll see. And for them, we created an HR software, the first HR software to foster internal geographical mobility. So you can see on the left, when there is an open position, instead of hiring a new person outside of the company, they first check on our software if someone in the company could be super happy to get this job because it shortens its commute. Or you can go through the list of all employees and identify the one who has long commute and check with them on which location they would like to be relocated. Either when there is a new position open, or they can switch with another colleague. We already have great clients, and what we discovered after 3 years is amazing. It's 65% of the employees of our clients who do have a closer site to their home, from their home. So, and the average gain is 10 kilometers morning and night. Like Mehdi, for example, Point P, which is a client, transferred him closer to his home. He saved 10 kilometers morning and evening, 3,000 euros per year, and 1 ton of CO2 per year. And we could do that for 7 million people in France at least. And with free time also, that's great. And employers are happy to work with us. And they go to us because we help them reduce turnover, absenteeism, reduce fatigue, reduce accidents, reduce carbon footprint, even if it's not their priority for now. And also, last but not least, we increase the standard of living for the happy employees who are relocated closer to their home. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Laure. Coup de cœur of mobility. Wonderful. It was 1 kilomètre à pied. What about talking about water now? You know how vital this is to any form of life. That's why we want to talk about ocean, water, to fight water scarcity. We had a lot of projects very interesting, and the coup de cœur is Swedish Algae Factory. Please, let's welcome Sophie Aller. Woo!
There is a need of efficient materials and specialty chemicals that are healthy for us and our planet in a wide variety of industries. In personal care, many ingredients used today are proven to be hazardous for both our environment and our health. And we're in desperate need of producing more renewable energy as well as energy storage capacity to be able to avoid a future climate crisis. We help solve these problems with the help of a unique nanoporous silica material that we extract from an algae species called diatoms. We humans have been trying to synthesize a material like this, but we've actually not succeeded in doing so. We brand this material under the name Algica. Algica solves the top pains of personal care all in one material, whilst being a healthy and environmentally friendly choice. The personal care ingredient market was in 2021 valued to 11 billion euros with a CAGR around 6%. And the growth of this industry is primarily driven by the use of more organic and natural products, and the need to replace ingredients that are proven to be or can be hazardous towards our health and the environment. As of today, there's 31 launched products containing Algica worldwide, and we're actually now up to over 350 actors that are testing Algica in their formulations. Algica has also been proven to be able to increase the efficiency of solar cells with 4 to 38%, dependent on the solar cell type. The market value of Algica in the solar industry is estimated to at least 5.6 billion euros annually. In initial lab tests, the use of Algica in the anodes of lithium-ion battery have doubled the capacity of a battery. We're now taking part of a huge EU project with the goal to reach 4 times the energy storage capacity with the help of Algica in a full cell configuration of a lithium-ion battery. We have recently started operations in our first large-scale factory, and the operations is circular. We have patents in relation to our algae cultivation, and patent pendings in relation to the applications of Algica. We are a team of 14 sustainability enthusiasts that together had over 200 years of experience in our respective fields. We're now raising 10 million euros to be able to meet the growing demand that we see in the personal care industry and to be able to take the next steps towards commercialization in energy applications. With this funding, we can reach revenues of over 10 million euros annually and become profitable. Thank you.
Congratulations for the coup de cœur. You can keep that. I'm gonna go. So this was ocean and water, and now we're gonna talk about food. I don't know about you, but I love to eat. Are there any foodie in the audience? Raise your hand. Oh yeah, foodie. So what about talking about agriculture? We found a coup de cœur, very, very, very inspiring. It's roulement de tambour. Wonderful, and it is climate farmer. Let's welcome Philippe Berker. Philippe. Whoop, whoop.
Good evening. I'm inviting you all to listen to the sound around you. Eyes closing optional, because you already did it twice. The sound that you're listening to is the sound of biodiversity. It's a sound recording from a regenerative farm. Now I'm curious, how many of you have been on a farm in the last year? There's a few hands going up, okay. And how many of you have heard this sound when you were on that farm? So this probably means that you have been on a regenerative farm. Because if you would have been on a conventional farm, you would have heard this. It's a sound of silence. And that's exactly the reason why my co-founder Ivo and me started Climate Farmers 4 years ago. 5 years ago, we both decided that we want to focus on climate change. It was the hottest day ever measured in Berlin with 39 degrees. And we were like, if we don't work on climate, then what are we doing right now with our lives? We both grew up in an agricultural context. And that's where we both decided that agriculture, responsible for 24% of all greenhouse gas emissions, is the #1 thing to focus on. And we were amazed, because we found data and research from the 80s and 90s talking about regenerative agriculture and the amazing potential that it has to build biodiversity, to sequester more carbon in the soil than we are emitting on a yearly basis, and to store water in the soil, which is becoming a massive issue right now. However, back then, no one was talking about this. Nobody was doing this, and we were struggling to find farmers which are doing regenerative agriculture. We looked hard, and we found 60 farmers in Western Europe. So we took 1 year, and we visited them. And we stayed with them, and we worked with them, and we asked them, how did you get into regenerative agriculture? Why do you think no one else is doing it? And how can we help you? And it was very interesting, because we were in 9 different countries, but the answers were almost always the same. Biggest issue, it's not sexy to be a farmer. Young people don't want to go into farming, and farmers in the European Union on average are 58 years old. Now, people 5 years before retirement are not very likely to change their ways. So we need to make farming sexy again. And we started storytelling, and we started educating people why we believe that regenerative farmers are the heroes of our times. Second issue, context-specific knowledge. You cannot learn regenerative agriculture at any European agricultural university. So we built a farmer-to-farmer learning community where farmers can learn from each other and with each other how to apply regenerative practices on their farm. Third issue, transition finance. If you transition from conventional towards regenerative agriculture, you need to focus your mindset from focusing on yield to focusing on soil health. And that also means that for the first few years, you will have less produce. And for that reason, and because farmers don't have a lot of cash flow, we need to pay them for it. So we applied to the Google Impact Challenge on climate to write a methodology to generate carbon credits and biodiversity credits for farmers which are transitioning towards regenerative agriculture. Amazingly, we won. And we got 650,000 euros to write that methodology. And last year, September, we managed to get it verified by the German verification agency TÜV. And this year, we generated the first 300,000 credits for farmers. And now we need you to help us scale this across Europe. So if you want, please come and talk to us.
Congrats, Philippe! Woo! Wonderful project. Congrats on being the coup de coeur of food and agriculture. Let's talk about education and inclusion. And if you followed right, you know that I've already talked to you about education with Scholavie project, which was the coup de coeur, but we did 2 sessions. So who is the second coup de coeur? This is Omni, and we are going to welcome Charlotte Allo on stage. Charlotte!
Merci. Hi, everyone. I'm Charlotte, the co-founder of Omni, and we are the teammates for the life changing of the 25 million people with reduced mobility. I'm in a wheelchair since I am 4 years old, and moving around when we are in a wheelchair or when we have difficulties to walk is really difficult because you have a lot of obstacles. You have steep slopes, pavements, public transportation, which are not always accessible. And existing solutions are really expensive. To give you an order of idea, to give you an order of idea, motorization costs between 3,000 and 8,000 euros without reimbursement. And they are big and difficult to use. That's why, at Omni, we develop solutions that are affordable, innovative, sexy. We are the first DNVB to sell directly to our customer. Our community is involved during all the process. And we have created with them My OmniTrot, the first electric scooter to go everywhere. It's 3 times cheaper than existing solution. And yes, we can go really everywhere with that. We have now 1,000 users in France. They have between 12 and 92 years old. And they go shopping, they go to work, they go just outside with their family to go bicycle. It's really, really fun to see them. We have a strong impact in their life. 85% of them feel more autonomous. We see also impact in their mobility. They go outside twice more. An impact also in their health. We decrease musculoskeletal disorders. Also in inclusion, social inclusion, they met 4 times more people. And for the planet also, it's a good alternative to have another alternative to the car. So we are so happy to give them freedom, to give them a way to go out. We have a lot of message. Every day we have message who say they are happy to have the freedom. And we want to do more. We want to help hundreds of thousands of people. So that's why we are fundraising. We have already committed €1 million. We are open to up to 1.5 million. So if you are interested, we will be happy to meet you. Thank you so much.
Woo-hoo! Da-da-da! Love it. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your project, Omni. So easy to remember when it's written just over there.